What's going on, my trainer club? We have the lucky friends coming to Pokemon Go, and there has been a lot of leaks, and I feel like I have put together a really good conception of how this is going to work. So, welcome to the trainer club, guys. Here we go! Alright everyone, we have the lucky friends coming to Pokemon Go, which I am super hyped about. I think that is an awesome feature, and we are going to get into that in just a minute. But before we do, I just wanted to point out that Pokemon Go Fest for the United States has been announced this morning on Twitter from Pokemon Go. It is actually going to be June 13th through 16th in Chicago, Illinois, which means it's the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. It looks like they're doing 4 days, similar to what they did in Asia, because it was a huge success last year. Let me tell you, they really did a great job at figuring out how to spread out the phones, how not to have the communication issues like they did on the first time, and exactly how to space people out. And I know that it sold out so fast that a lot of you guys were super bummed that you didn't get to go. But this year, with it being 4 days, I'm assuming you'll only be able to go to 1 day. So not only will you be able to go for 1 day, but you can make an extended stay with your family, friends, or just by yourself and play in the city, because downtown Chicago is, in my opinion, probably one of the best places to play in the entire countries because of the density of the stops, how many gyms there are, and then whatever Pokemon are exclusive for this event, they are going to be throughout the entire city to help you out. So it's literally like, if you're not in the Go Fest, I know that there's some rares there, but everything else that's going on, like last year, the Plusle and Minums were absolutely everywhere. I got a few shinies just cruising around the cities. The raids were everywhere. There were people everywhere. Every raid was full. It was an absolute blast. Something that I highly recommend that you guys do, because I will be there and I can't wait to see you guys there too. And the second thing is going to be Dortmund, and that is going to be from July 4th through July 7th. So we are looking in Germany again with a 4-day event. So it seems like they're really taking into account the popularity of these events. They really want to help and enable everybody to be at these events. So it's super cool that they are considering this, that they are expanding, and that the communities can all get together and play. I can't wait to see if you guys are going to go to that one. So drop in the comments, let me know which of these events are you planning to go to. Are you planning on going just one, all of them, or everything in between? And the other thing, they also mentioned that they have not announced the Asia ones yet, but they will be announced later this year. So now let's switch gears into, in my opinion, one of the coolest things that's coming out, because Stardust is the hottest commodity in the game. So having lucky Pokemon is a humongous benefit to your Stardust, because we cut the Stardust power up in half. So if we're going from level 20 all the way to level 40, we're doing about 225,000 Stardust. You cut that in half, we're doing about 112,000 Stardust. And I know it may not be the best IV, but for the amount of power up and power that you're getting from powering up, like let's say a legendary, from there all the way to max, and I think legendaries are even more. I think they're like 287 from level 20. You are going to save a ton of Stardust, and you're going to be able to have like 2 powered up for the price of 1, which is huge. And so I just wanted to point out, I know that this information is not necessarily super new, but I am trying to make it a point to, number one, be as timely as possible, and number two, make sure to provide full information. That's why for the bug out event, I know that it's been announced, right? We didn't know about the raid bosses. We did not know about what the research tasks were. So I just waited for the information to come out, and then I got it out as timely as I physically could. So that's what I'm doing here. And the reason why we're looking into the Lucky Friends today is because it just got updated in the Apple App Store, saying that this feature is now in the game. So it's going to be announced pretty soon. Everything that we have compiled today is pretty much, I think, what's going to happen, and it's going to be coming out very soon. So we're going to teach you how to maximize on these Lucky Friends and how to do it the best way you possibly can. So what I think is going to happen, and from what I've seen from Chrales, man, I have such a hard time thinking about how to pronounce that. It doesn't make Krause, I'm just gonna say, from his leaks, from his footage. So it looks like here, if you check this out, we are going to be having a lucky friendship with, obviously it's looking like best friends, so it may only be for best friends, because let's be honest, when we get to best friends, and if I'm thinking from the psychological standpoint of Niantic, how do we get people to still interact with best friends, with gifts, with trading, with battling, right? Because a lot of people are motivated by like getting to that point in that number. Oh, we hit best friends, now we're done. And I have to admit, I do that too, especially with people that I am not around with very frequently. So in order to incentivize you guys, right, I think this is where they're coming from, to continue on ranking up your friendship, opening gifts, and doing everything for your best friends, we are now going to have the chance to hit a lucky best friend. And so that's what it looks like here, because we have somebody who is a best friend, and then it says your next trade with this friend will be lucky. So the next trade, so it's not a permanent lucky friend, but it says the next trade, meaning something had to trigger this beforehand in order to get you to be able to get a lucky, which in my opinion is going to be an interaction based on all of these tweets from Krause. From Krause. Yeah, so you get to the best friend, and once you do that, I don't think it's like guaranteed you open a gift and you'll be able to have a next trade lucky. But what I do think, like, let's say you're with a best friend and you're like trading, right? Like 10 trades, 12 trades. I don't know how many exactly or what the prevalence of this is going to be. At some point, you're going to bump into an interaction that's going to give you the lucky potential. And once you get that, the next trade is going to be guaranteed lucky. So you're going to want to use this wisely, search your Pokedex, or look for the very common Pokemon that you want to power up, let's say like Mewtwo, or you're looking at a Groudon or a Kyogre or something that's very useful, and then you're going to trade that on the next one. Or even, here we go, the shiny legendaries. If you guys are willing to trade your shiny legendaries and you have like an extra one, this would be the time to use it, because you're guaranteed to get a next trade lucky with your best friend. So now everybody's like, oh my god, I have to get to best friends with more people. That is right, you do, because not only will you be able to use an egg and get 200,000 XP for ranking up, you're now going to have the chance to get a guaranteed next trade lucky, which is absolutely huge. And then when you hit the lucky friends, the screen is going to look like this. It's going to say a lucky trade, which is confirming to you that this trade is going to be lucky. So all you have to do is trade, hit that lucky friendship for the next trade to be friends, and then what you're going to do is trade your rare or your special trade for the day, and then you will have that as a lucky Pokemon. So then you go into the lobby, and the screen is totally different. You can tell that it's lucky. It's completely different colors. There is no hiding it. They are pointing it out, and even if it looks like you don't use it on that day, so let's say you got a lucky friendship for the next trade, you did the trade, you got let's say you got a lucky shiny Moltres. You both traded shiny Moltreses, now they're lucky. You trade, boom, you get another lucky. What you could do is then save that for the next day, because it looks like right here you can stack that. It signifies in your friends list when the next trade is going to be lucky, which is going to be huge for you, because let's say you stack with a certain person, and you're like, I just want to know that tomorrow's trade is going to be lucky, so we only have to do one trade because we're going out of town or whatever the circumstance is. Boom, you can trade that legendary and get another lucky. This is absolutely magnificent. So if you've been up on your friends list, getting that XP, like I've told you many times, like you stacked during the community days, you have people stacked up, you pop your eggs, you've been getting it, you have your lucky friends who are your best friends, who you communicate with often and trade often. This is your time to succeed, and in my opinion, it's just going to be an interaction. So it could be a PvP battle, it could be raiding in a battle, it could be battling a gym together. I believe that ranks you up. And then you could also open a gift or trade. All those things are going to be an opportunity for you to get there. So this is super exciting. Can't wait to see everybody with their best friends getting tons of lucky Pokemon. I am stoked about this. Huge saving on the Stardust, and you can get the Pokemon that you want. So that leaves us one more thing, and that's what Pokemon do I consider getting a lucky Pokemon of. And thanks to Pokemon Go Hub, I know this is a little bit based on the Gen 4 Pokemon and raid bosses that are going to be out, but I think that these Pokemon are super effective overall, so I am going to cover this. So we're going to look at the tier 1 right now. So I would say that Machamp, if you don't have a good Machamp lucky, or you don't have a ton of Machamps powered up, it's definitely a Pokemon to utilize as lucky friends. Get a bunch of those. But we're going to look at the gold stars, and these are Pokemon that have increased effectiveness based on the current tier 5 raid bosses. So Mewtwo is definitely one. If you have a Confusion or Psycho Cut, I prefer the Psycho Cut, Shadow Ball Mewtwo, and I know that the Shadow Ball is a legacy moveset. This is definitely a Pokemon to utilize for the lucky friends. And then obviously the Rayquaza. Rayquaza is a dominant dragon Pokemon, and I highly encourage you guys to utilize this lucky trade to get some lucky Rayquazas, and then in the future when we get the shiny, we can utilize this for the shiny lucky Rayquaza. And then from tier 1.5, we are looking at Gengar,
We look at Moltres with the Sky Attack or the Overheat. I actually really like the Sky Attack Moltres. I think it's super effective. We have Tyranitar with either Smackdown and Bite and Stone Edge or Crunch. Super effective. We have Metagross. I would highly suggest only trying to get a Meteor Mash Metagross. Super effective. We obviously have the most powerful water Pokemon in the game. We have Kyogre. We have Rampardos. We also have Mamoswine, and the origin form of Giratina I think is super crucial based on its ghost attackers. And then we're going on to tier 2, so we have Dragonite, Raikou, Sceptile, Breloom. I would put more heavy focus on the Salamence and Groudon. Super effective for that Groudon. Really love Groudon. We can use Roserade. We can do the Rhyperior or the Electivire. And if you guys want to check out these movesets, just go ahead and pause that. Then also we have in the bottom of the tier 2 of the Dialga and the Palkia. I really love these guys. I would highly suggest getting some Luckies and powering these guys up. And then if you want to check out some of the tier 3, which I really think that are super awesome, we have the Venusaur. Only, in my opinion, if it has the Frenzy Plant from the Community Day, and as well as the Charizard with the Blast Burn. We also have the Alakazam that you could do, Gyarados, which you can do, which is still overpowered by that Kyogre. We can do Zapdos. Love the Zapdos, especially with the Thunderbolt. We can do Feraligatr with the Hydro Cannon if you decide to. I absolutely love the Entei. I can't wait to see those shinies this year. I think that they're going to utilize these guys for the Go Fest shiny weekends following the events, and then you can do Latios too. So these are the Pokemon that I would highly suggest focusing on getting Luckies of, just because of how powerful they are and how effective they can be in raid battles.
Drop in the comments as well. Let me know if you're hyped about this Lucky Friendship as well, and do you trade often? So thanks for tuning into the Trainer Club. If I provided you value, please hit that sub button, turn on those notifications so that I can continue to deliver you more value. Peace.